What you have to understand is the enemy. He tries, and some of you are probably fishermen, he tries to make it look pretty, the bad stuff, so that it's like a lure. Oh, it's shiny, it looks delicious, but by the time we chomp on it, it's too late and we're dead. Everything's destroyed. That is how he tries to do that. Now, guys, you have to realize that's his perspective. That's how he tries to do this. So, it's a fair question. How are we supposed to wage this war then? If he's waging a war at us, what do we do? Now, guys, if you've been around the bridge for even a little while, you've heard us quote out of Ephesians 6:12. Now, I want you to think about this. Everything that we just looked at, you would think is flesh and blood. Hunger? Okay, yeah, that's flesh and blood, right? Nope, that's not the deal. Because in Ephesians 6:12, it says, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against rulers and powers and world forces of darkness and spiritual forces of wickedness in the heavenly places. Get that? He says, no, there's this dude out there that's trying to use something that simple to destroy you eternally. Now, guys, I want you to think about how bad the dude is that we're going up against. This is one really bad dude. Remember Jesus said in John 10:10, the thief comes to steal, to kill, and destroy. I came that you might have life and have it more abundantly. Do you remember that he talked about, this is in Peter, 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. He says, your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion seeking someone to devour. All right, you've got Hebrews chapter 2, verse 14 that says that Satan holds the power of death. Guys, he's trying to kill us. So much so, in John 8:44, Jesus says he was a murderer from the beginning, and the guy couldn't tell the truth to save his life. He lies constantly about everything. This is the dude that we're up against, and the whole world lies in his power. It's wrecked. Guys, think of it. The enemy loves. Look what he loves. Destroyed and hurt children and people, broken families, painful and fatal diseases, tragedy, and more. I mean, he loves all of that stuff. That's the dude that we're dealing with. So we get to step back and go, okay, how do we handle this? I want you to think about an impenetrable, impregnable, I did it again. I couldn't say it yesterday. A fortress you can't get in. There you go, right there. Think of this right here. You can't climb up the walls. You can't do any of that. And the only way is there's a gate. This is your life. And the reality is you have the keys to that gate. And you get to choose to whom you give these keys. What we have to understand, guys, is by that being a reality, we're the gatekeeper. All right? And so we make a decision whether we're going to bite the lure or not, whether we're going to go for all this. And to be able to do this well, we have to keep our focus. Now, we're back to that. Remember, motion-induced blindness? Don't let that happen to you. Here's the point. The enemy wants you to focus on the wrong thing. Probably all of you have heard the cliche, you can't see the forest for the trees. Now, let's make real clear what we're talking about here. So we're going to go into the middle of a forest. Here we are. We're in a forest. There's trees all around us. It's so easy to get lost. We can't find our way. And we have to actually be able to step maybe at the top of a hill or something to be able to see the forest and go, okay, now I see where I am. This is the problem we run into, and this is what Satan tries to do to us. And here's what it looks like. He wants us to focus on the trees so that we get lost. The trees are this, sin. Guys, all of us have temptations coming our way where the enemy is trying to get us to take Satan's way to fulfill a need instead of God's way to do that, okay? And that's coming at us, and sometimes we just look at it and we go, I'm going to try real hard not to give in to that. And that's what Satan wants us to do because we're focused on the tree instead of the forest. So, okay, what's the forest? You probably don't remember, but a few months ago, I taught before our text in chapter 1, verses 14 through 16. Peter said this, as obedient children, do not be conformed to the former lusts, there's that term, desire, former desires, that were yours in your ignorance. But like the Holy One who called you, you shall be holy in all of your behavior. As it is written, you shall be holy, for I am holy. Now guys, stick with me here. Don't miss this. The enemy is trying to get you to focus on that tree so that with motion-induced blindness, you lose sight of where you are, what you're supposed to be about, and your whole life gets wrecked and your soul gets destroyed. God wants you to step back and to be able to see the forest. Now here it is, guys. I want you to think about how simple this is. God just told us, here's how you do it. Be like Dad. That's what he said there. He said, be like Dad. You see, what we do is instead of focusing on that one tree, and I'm going to try real hard not to do it, just go, you know what, that will totally get in the way of me being like God. Here's how we know who God is, because of Jesus Christ. When we're like Christ, we become like Dad. Our entire job is to be like Dad, and through the process, we keep going, no, you can't have the keys. Nope, you can't have the keys. Nope, you can't come in to those specific things. Why? Well, because I want to be like Dad. Guys, think about how simple that is. We're just going to try and be a good kid for God. I just need to be like Dad. And all of a sudden, everything melts away, and we have the forest very clearly in front of us, and the enemy can't destroy us.